Once again, Hull City can't build any momentum as we suffer a 2-1 defeat at home to Queen's Park Rangers. Hello there and welcome back to the HullCityFanCentral YouTube channel, where today we'll be going through the loss that's just happened. 2-1 to QPR at the MKM Stadium. Another Tuesday night loss for the Tigers. It seems like we're just going on repeat now. We win a game, we lose a game, we draw a game, we lose a game, we win a game, we lose a game. It seems like this season is just going to quickly become, or if it's not already become, a broken record. And this seems like the perfect game to grab them points. 1 point, 3 points, whatever it being. Some points in some aspect would have been perfect from this game. The teams around us that have played this evening, they all lost. So a point or three would have done wonders for our table position. But also to think ahead to Friday night where we're playing Sheffield United at Bramall Lane. We're probably not going to get anything from that game either. So to say that this was an opportunity missed is a little bit of an understatement. Of course, you can't discredit QPR. They're flying high at the moment. They seem that they can't go a game in the league without grabbing 3 points or at least 1 point. They're flying up the table. But where is the consistency coming for Hull City? In this video, I'm going to go through what happened in the game, how maybe we can further improve on the squad and maybe grab some sort of consistent aspect moving on with the season. Of course, the January is still young, so to speak. And then we'll go through the lineup and give my ratings for every player that played in the game. Positive note from the game. I will give a positive note because there was one. Joe Gelhardt got his first Hull City goal in his first full start for the Tigers. Was quite a nice goal, to be fair. A bit of range, got it over the keeper in the back of the net, and quick as a flash, ran back into our half to start the game off, which was nicely done by him. I thought there was some nice aspects from this game. First half as well, wasn't too bad. We just weren't clinical enough in that first half. If the shots were converted, if the QPR defence, I mean, if we managed to get past them a little bit more and weren't as necessarily man-marked, you maybe look at that aspect of it. But I thought first half-wise, we didn't play too bad. I thought there was positive moments in that first half. Harry Vaughan in that first half was a delight, as well as Gustavo Puerta. But I mean, were the two players subbed off first for City. And it really boiled down to this evening was what the substitutes brought for either side. QPR substitutes, the two players that they brought on in the second half, the first two players they brought on, they both contributed. And I believe they both scored. It created nuisance with that Hull City defence where we just, time after time after time, certainly for, I want to say, from the 50th minute or we'll say the 60th minute onwards, we were just losing the possession. We were just not picking them up, and it's these defensive mistakes that happen time and time again, especially for the City squad. I don't think a week goes by where there's not at least one or two defensive mistakes which lead to a goal. Because defensively, especially under Ruben Sayers, we are capable at the back. The defensive lineup, whatever aspect it fits in, whether Hughes is back, whether Coyle's in there, whether we have Jacob or McLaughlin at left back, whatever the lineup is with that defensive line, you know that they're going to be strong in some sort of aspect. It's just a question of when and where and who will cause the defensive mistake today. Because it's bound to happen. We can't have a solid, clean defensive line for a game. 3 clean sheets all season, and 2 of them have come against Millwall, who have struggled to get goals themselves this season. So you just need that consistency all over the field, not just with the defensive line, but heading forwards. Because it's a question as well heading forwards. Where's the next goal going to come from? I mean, I say every time on my prediction videos, oh, João Pedro is going to score today. I mean, he's not scored in a little bit of time, and yeah, it looks like he's going to contribute at moments, but he doesn't. He doesn't get the results. Credit to Joe Gelhardt for getting his first City goal, as I said. A little bit on Gelhardt, and then I'll go into my player ratings for everyone. I thought that he would have started the game out on the left. In my prediction video yesterday, I said Gelhardt out on the left, and then Kamara out on the right. Of course, Kamara didn't play in this game. want on the bench. I believe he may have picked up a little bit of an injury or something along the lines. But whoever, you could have shoved someone out on the right, someone in a maybe I don't know, someone out on the right, because I believe, and I think going forwards, that Gelhardt is better suited out on the left. He's got a brilliant left foot, but to waste that as a player that's cutting inside, it feels almost Tim Volter-esque management, where you're not using the player to their full ability. Of course, I would prefer him as a secondary striker to João Pedro, to have him just sit behind Pedro. But of course, you have maybe Gustavo Puerto in that position, and then you maybe need to rethink the entire lineup, which I don't really want to get rid of that midfield three of Slater, Alzate and Puerto, because when they're firing, and at least two of them are pretty much consistent every game. So I don't want to get rid of that, but I just feel that it was a little bit mismanaged. A little bit, but it's the first glimpse of mismanagement, and it's Joe Gelhardt's first appearance starting for City. So I'm not going to go that in and go get rid of Ruben Sayers. He can't manage it, one player in his league debut for the Tigers. But it's a worthy note, and we'll look ahead on Friday, but I presume the lineup will obviously look that bit more different, because obviously more arrivals coming in and all that sort of goodness that we have to look forward to as a City fan in the January transfer window. So let's go through the City lineup and give our player ratings for everyone. Carl Rushworth. Carl Rushworth did produce some good saves, and once again, it's defensive errors, but they're not Carl Rushworth's defensive errors. Yeah, the first goal was a calamitous mistake from everyone on every part in that defensive lineup, and really it should not have been a goal for QPR. They were lucky on where the ball landed to their players. I think they had 3 opportunities to score in that instance, and obviously the last effort went in. But you are looking at the defensive line for City to pick up the slack on that one, so to speak. And Carl Rushworth, other than that sort of mini mistake, he had a quite good game, some good saves, and he was used more effectively than I thought he did against Millwall. So Carl Rushworth, I'm going to give him a 6.3 match rating. Cody Dramov, of course, filling in for the injured Louis Coyle, and same again, wasn't too bad. I don't know whether it's something to do with what Ruben Sayers is managing, but I don't feel the fullbacks are getting as involved with the attacking action, which I'm not completely against. Our defensive record's improved, and that's probably because of how Ruben Sayers is managing that defensive line and how he's managing the fullbacks. But it negates a little bit from the attack, and it kind of forces the attack to be produced from other players on the field that haven't been doing it this season, and needs to happen. It just needs to happen. So Cody Drammer, I'm going to give him a 5.3 match rating. Finley Burns, same again from Finley Burns. He's a weird one to have in that defensive lineup, because you know he's doing a good job, but you don't, certainly for me, I don't feel like I spot him doing a good job. It seems to be whenever there's the big moment, the big defensive action, it's always like an Alfie Jones or someone like that. And Finley Burns is just there quietly doing his job. So, fair play to him. I'm going to give him a 5.5 credit. Alfie Jones again, it's not the best we've seen from him. It's not the worst. It is an Alfie Jones performance where you know you're going to get good moments from him, but there may be that one little moment where you go, oh, wait a second, but then he'll bring it back on track. So Alfie Jones, I will give him a 5.4 match rating. Sean McLaughlin starting the game at left back and then moved his way over to the centre half position when Finley Burns went off for Matty Jacob. So Sean McLaughlin, again, I don't mind him in that left back position. I think he has something to provide there, and of course he's kind of a little bit of a placeholder until maybe a left back comes in this January transfer window. But for Sean McLaughlin, I will give him a 5.4 match rating. Regan Slater, it seems like it's either one or the other with Regan Slater. He either has a game where he's producing on all fronts, or a game where he sits back a little bit and you struggle to see a bit more of a positive attacking attitude from him. Albeit, he didn't do too bad. Regan Slater, a 5.2 match rating. Steven Alzate, I mean, you struggle to fault Steven Alzate, don't you? Because even when he's not on top form, and I don't think he was today, he's still an effective aspect of this Hull City lineup. So Steven Alzate, a 5.7 match rating. Joe Gelhardt grabbing the goal, and for that, he's my man of the match. A little bit of a slim pickings. I probably would have given it to Harry Vaughan maybe if he didn't get subbed off so early, which I see why. I mean, I'll come to that in a minute. But Joe Gelhardt, man of the match, I'm going to give him a 7.5 match rating. So Gustavo Puerta produced well in that first half, and I thought it wasn't too bad. Second half rolls around, and he just didn't have it going. I don't know if we see this a little bit from Gustavo Puerta, where he's a player that seems to slip off a little bit as the game winds on, and I'm not sure whether that's something to manage about. Of course, Ruben Sayers is managing about it and doing so effectively. It just doesn't seem to work in this instance, but it's probably what I would have done in that situation. But I mean, I am not a manager. So Gustavo Puerta, I will give him a 6.5 match rating. Harry Vaughan, I thought Harry Vaughan was good in that first half. He was producing, he was gaining us free kicks, he was making a bit of a nuisance on that left-hand side. Similar aspect, didn't carry it over to that second half, and I think that second half started off slow for both sides, and Hull City really struggled to get a foot into that second half, really until the second goal went in for QPR, when all hope seemed lost, and then maybe City were maybe toying with a little bit of a comeback, but No. So Harry Vaughan, I will give him a 6.8 for his efforts in that first half. And then João Pedro up top. Again, it seems like whenever João Pedro isn't firing, grabbing goals or assists or certainly getting a lot of the ball in that striker position, he seems to get a little bit snappy and cause like incidents or whatever. Just something to note. Again, I'm not against it. So João Pedro, I will give him a 5.5 match rating. 3 substitutes was all that was used from City, and that being Matt Crooks. Crooks, again, I thought that his footwork was good. He just wasn't utilised, I don't think, in this game. And I've got to say that for a few of the players, but I don't think Matt Crooks was utilised in this game, certainly when he came on to the best of his ability. And so for that, I will give it a 5 match rating. Matty Jacob. Came on, didn't really get too much of a look in. He came on obviously for Finley Burns and was quite late on into the game. So Matty Jacob, for not having too much of an impact on the ball, just for not playing that much, I will give him a 4.5. A 4.8 match rating. Mason Burstow. Same again with Mason Burstow from this game compared to the last. He just feels like he's lacking something. And I was thinking this whilst watching the game. I was racking through my memory, like when we signed him. We signed him as a striker. He is predominantly a striker. Yet this season he's been out on the wing the entire time, and I think people forget that he is a striker playing out on the wing. You give Omer the slack for being a cam out on the wing. So where is that bit of slack for Mason Burstow? Maybe, although he has contributed out on the wing. I've been impressed with his contributions out on the wing early on in the season. It just seems like he's slipping a little bit, and I don't know whether that's the new managerial tactics and the style the wingers are playing now is not as if Mason Burstow was a winger. Of course, he's a striker. Maybe try him out off the bench as in the striker position against Sheffield United or something. Just toy up with that bit of change about him. I think that he's so beaten into that one position that it doesn't necessarily work in this sort of setup. I would be looking for maybe a little bit of change with Mason Burstow, sort of from what he can produce play style. Maybe have a sit down with him. I mean, I'm talking to Ruben Sayers directly here. Sit down with him, chat with him, maybe evaluate what he thinks he can produce with this Hull City lineup. But obviously, we'll wait and see on that front. We'll wait and see what Hull City can produce this week heading into Friday. Of course, not long, we'll hopefully some new arrivals. Of course, we do have Joseph just joined and wasn't part of the squad here today, so maybe he can contribute against Sheffield United. But of course, arrivals are coming, and they're hopefully coming thick and fast for City. So you do want to stay tuned on the channel here by liking and subscribing and keeping up to date on all of your Hull City news and content right here on the Hull City Fan Central YouTube channel. Make sure you go and check me out on Twitter or X to get a live breaking minute by minute of Hull City. And also, I'm a little bit active on the TikTok. You want to check me out over there and see even more Hull City content. But I'll see you in the next video. Up the Tigers!